Sixth Gen here, everybody, and this is my first YouTube video I've ever made. So, Sixth Gen, who am I? Well, my real name is Rob. I'm from Austin, Texas, where I was born and raised. People have a nickname for native Austinites who are still around. They call them unicorns. I just think that's kind of funny, but I do have a bunch of unicorn stuff, like a unicorn head on my wall over here and a unicorn nightlight that friends have given me because I'm a native Austinite, and that's kind of the nickname they have for us. My whole family is from Texas. I'm actually a sixth generation Texan. My family was here when Texas was still a republic, and that's where I actually got my handle from, Sixth Gen. Texans have a lot of pride in their state. I'm no different. I love Texas. I love being from Texas. I love Texas history, and that's why I kind of settled on that handle, Sixth Gen, because I'm a sixth generation Texan. I'm proud of that. I work in the IT field. I have pretty much since I was 16 years old. I've been working with computers or web pages or IT networking, something like that, since I was about 16 years old. I currently manage an engineering team for a telecom company. Technology, the internet, stuff like that has been a part of my life pretty much since I was about 12 or 13 years old. I would say my first real experience with kind of online socializing would be with a BBS, bulletin board system. This is like, when I talk about the internet, I'm referring to how it is today, the state the internet is today, where basically you can just open up a browser and go online and you can watch videos or listen to music or, watch movies, stuff. It didn't used to be like that at all. BBSs were pretty awesome. I went to one called the Eyes of Time in Chicago. You could just log in, you could play a bunch of text-based games like Trade Wars, Legend of the Red Dragon, Global War, stuff like that. But you could also go into chat rooms and talk with people from all over the world. And this was when I was about 12 or 13. When you're 12 or 13 years old and you're talking to somebody from Germany or something online, that was pretty awesome for me. Now you're 12 or 13 years old and you're probably supposed to be talking to people from Germany online, just from schoolwork or whatever you're doing. So when I was 12 or 13 years old, nobody was chit-chatting with somebody from Germany or Japan. That was like unheard of, right? It's pretty commonplace now, but not when I was 12 or 13. So that was really cool. That was a unique experience. I've always been a social person, but when I was younger, you had to socialize in person, right? Because we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have the internet, again, in the state that it is today. So when I discovered that you could actually chat with people online from all around the world, it like blew my mind. It was a game changer, and I was hooked at that point. I always wanted to be involved online or development of the internet or the technologies that made it happen. I wanted to learn about how computers worked, how modems worked, how routers and switches worked, all of that. So that's really kind of what got me into it. And my first job was like bagging groceries, which is pretty common for somebody from my generation. But after that, all of my jobs have pretty much centered somehow around technology. I've had a couple of odd supplementary income jobs here and there, like I've been a barista, but even when I was a barista, I also worked at the Best Buy Geek Squad, fixing computers and answering questions about networking. One of my dogs is upset at my other dog, I think. I've always kind of stayed in that kind of industry. Now, like I said, I'm in the telecom industry, managing a team of engineers, and I used to be an engineer for this company as well. I've been with this company for 15 years, so it's been quite a ride for me, and it's been good for me. I've really enjoyed it, and it always keeps me on my toes. I started playing video games. I don't know, I was young. I know we had like an Atari that I remember messing around with. My first real console that I remember that was mine and I had all these amazing experiences with, of course, was the Nintendo Entertainment System. Super Mario Brothers, Legend of Zelda, Duck Hunt, the staples of my generation's gaming. And then also my cousin introduced me to Final Fantasy, the original one, and that was just out of this world to me. I had no idea what an RPG was. I didn't even know that's what it was called at the time. That game was just on a whole different level than like side-scrolling platformers. I had no idea. It just really opened my mind to the possibilities of video games and character development, soundtrack, things like that. And that's still one of my like all-time favorites, is the original Final Fantasy. It's just got a special place in my heart, and it's just not going anywhere. But then from there, I went through the usual culprits, the Sega Genesis, Sega CD. My buddy had a TurboGrafx 16. I got a Panasonic 3DO for one Christmas, which was amazing. It was one of the first disc-based game systems. I'm actually the only person I know that ever owned a 3DO. I mean, obviously people know that they exist and they were out there, but I've never met anybody else who ever owned one. But it was awesome. Like, the games on it, the graphics were really incredible for the time. And the disc could store a lot of content, so the games were very robust, so that was cool. Primarily what I play now are FPS games. I love FPS games all the way from back in the day when my buddy and I, he worked at a university and they had like T1 connections, and we used to go in there and play Quake, the original Quake Arena. We had a great ping and amazing systems because they were owned by the university, so that was super fun. Ever since then, I mean, I've been into FPS games. Of course, when like Half-Life came out, one of the mods that came out for Half-Life was called Day of Defeat, and I played the hell out of Day of Defeat. I loved that game and I got really, really good at it. I actually used to compete in that game. But FPS games, I mean, have just always been really, really fun to me. I like the competitive aspect of it. I like the skill that's involved in it. So mostly when I stream, that's what I'll be streaming, probably, is FPS. I probably will stream some RPG and maybe even some MOBAs, because some of my friends have got me into that recently and I really enjoy those as well. But for the most part, yeah, I'm pretty much an FPS nerd. I just really like those games. Through being into games and loving that kind of socializing and the online experience, you know, that always kept me into computers and got me into a lot of like hardware and networking as well. I've spent a lot of time building my own computer systems, setting up small office networking for people working on large enterprise networks, setting up my own home network the way I want it. Streaming and creating online content plays into that, because I think that there's a lot of different ways you can set up your systems and a way you can set up your content. So one of the things that I thought about when I was going to start this up is why, you know, like I've said before, I am a very social person, and the social aspect of online socializing has always really intrigued me, and I've always consumed that content. Obviously, I watch YouTube and I watch Twitch. You know, I have friends with Instagram accounts and Facebook, and back in this day, MySpace. You know, so it's always been something I've been a part of as a consumer, but I wanted to kind of see what the experience was like from the other side, from being a creator. As I stated before, I'm obviously not a professional gamer. I like playing video games. I would say at a lot of them I'm above average, but I'm by no means pro, and that's not why I'm doing this. I'm also not a full-time content creator, and I'm not really trying to be either. I mean, would I be upset if I make some sort of supplementary income off of my stream on my YouTube channel? Obviously not. I mean, that's the dream, right? Is to be able to make a living playing video games or making YouTube videos, but that's not my end goal. That's not what I'm shooting for here. I'm just trying to see what it's like being on the other side, being the content creator instead of the content consumer, and then we'll just kind of see where it goes from there. I have a profession that I like. It's very rewarding, and I've been successful at it. So why I'm doing this really is because I want to experience that other side of socializing through the internet and through social media. I want to be the one reaching out and creating content and kind of see what the reaction is. And it may be great and it may not be great. I mean, you know, sometimes people hop into my stream and they're very constructive and there's a good positive vibe there. And sometimes people pop in and they're like, yeah, bro, you're trash. You know, whatever. It doesn't bother me. I have a thick skin. So, you know, people talking trash online doesn't really have any effect on me. So I just wanted to, like I said, create some content, kind of get it out there, see where it goes, as just a little, as like a hobby. But I will take it seriously. I mean, I'm not just gonna, well, hopefully I'm not just gonna make this one video and then that's it. And I do have a streaming schedule, and I'll talk about that at the very end. Yeah, that's why I'm doing this. You know, I want to put something out there, see what the reaction is, see what it's like being on the other side of YouTube. You know, I think it'll be weird when I go back and watch this on my channel and see myself in a YouTube video. I feel like that's just going to be strange. Like, you know, if you ever have recorded yourself and then you hear your own voice on a recording, I feel like it always just sounds weird. That's what it's going to be like when I watch my own video, when I'm trying to edit this. You know, I'll talk about how it's going, maybe things that I've learned along the way. I'm sure there's plenty of things for me to learn out there, and I'm sure I will learn them all the hard way. But we'll just see how it goes. So a couple of things that I want to mention. One, obviously, is my stream. I do stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Central. So you can always catch me live there if you just want to see me hanging out playing some video games for fun. I will put a link to my Twitch channel down below if you want to come catch any of those live streams. Also, I did want to mention that if you like the background music of this video, I got it from another content creator who has a whole library of royalty-free music that you can use for your live streams or your videos. It's called Stream Beats, and it's a ton of songs, and they're all professionally produced. They're all really good. I checked it out. I really liked it, and so that's why I'm using it for my video. So that's on like iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, all of that, and I will put the links to all that down below. So yeah, that's about it for me for this introductory video, and I appreciate anybody who stops by and watches it, and until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.